welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another patron roster review. This is Niro. Niro the Immolator from Dark Lords of Old. Now, a lot of people actually know Niro. Niro is on the Facebook page with like almost 40,000 people on that Facebook page. He's helping people out all the time there. He's in the forums. He's in Reddit. He's all over the place helping people out. He's done a regular account. He's done a free-to-play account. He also has an alt, so he knows the struggles between multiple accounts. He's kind of done it all. Niro's awesome. He's been supporting me since the beginning. He's awesome. So he has spent money in this particular account, although he stopped spending money around December, and he's trying to live a completely free-to-play life from now on. It's definitely a lot harder because when you try and get a new character and put him into your team, it's like you got to start all over again, and it's so much work, and it takes months and months and months just even to work on one character. And so he's realized he has to hyper focus on a few characters that will help him not just today but in the future. So really all we're going to do today is go through some meta resistant farming, which by the way he brought to my attention about 6 months ago and said you should do a video on, which I did. But meta resistant farming just means that you want to get characters that are going to be good in any meta regardless of which meta it is. Now he uses what's called a climbing team and a holding team. These are his terms, and I think it's a great idea, great strategy with the holding team and climbing team. So his climbing team is actually Darth Vader, and the reason for this is with a Sith assassin real fast, it makes his Darth Vader go really fast, and unless he's going against an uber fast Darth Maul setup with a Sith assassin, he's pretty much going to beat anybody, right? So he's got his Darth Vader going first, and he's putting down all of those damage over times, and it's over from there. The moment that happens, it's done with. It doesn't matter how much they cleanse. He is going to continue to apply those debuffs because they never expire. And so with his climbing team, he's got Darth Nihilus for the insta-kill. Of course, he's got Sith Assassin to speed the team up. He has Shore as his one tank, and he can do critical hit immunity and heal the team. TIE Fighter Pilot kind of keeps himself under foresight, just as Sith Assassin keeps herself under stealth. And so between the two of them, they're really hard to hit, and they both hit really, really hard. So these are really great attackers that kind of take care of themselves, and they have less of a need for a tank. And so that's why he's got the two of them. And then he has Darth Vader as the leader, of course, and he gets turn meter reduction with the Sith and Empire, which is his team. So that really helps. And this is his climbing team. For his holding team, the team that he kind of like leaves when he goes to bed, so he doesn't drop nearly as far, it holds just a little better on defense for him, is this team right here. It's where he has Darth Maul as the lead and Sith Assassin, and so that makes for an uber fast team, and so his team's going to go first more than likely. Darth Vader's putting damage over time. Darth Nihilus is increasing cooldowns because of all the debuffs. You got Emperor Palpatine shocking people and stunning people, so this lasts him a little bit better on defense. Now what's interesting to me is his climbing team has a tank and his holding team does not have a tank. Now, obviously, he will want a tank in here, and he's working on getting General Kenobi. He's trying to get General Kenobi, and he's almost there. And so when he gets that, the suggestion for this team, of course, your holding tank, is going to be to replace Emperor Palpatine with General Kenobi. You'll have a cleanser now. You'll have someone that can add retribution. You'll also have that just that tanky presence that can apply that critical hit immunity on the whole team, which is kind of like what your short trooper does on your climbing team. Now, with that said, really quickly, I know a lot of people will say, you know, for attackers, you want critical chance, critical damage. I suggest that as well. But if you can't get your critical chance to at or above 40%, if you can't get it to at least 40%, then don't do critical chance and critical damage mods. Do offense mods. Okay, because offense mods are going to be better for the individual who you can't get to crit. If their critical chance, like on Darth Vader, is only 20%, he's not going to crit. You're not going to see crits with him, more than likely. And so because of that, you better switch over to offense mods so you just get more bang for your buck on your basic attacks. It doesn't mean you can't still raise the crit opportunity. You can still put crit chance and stuff like that in the triangle, but you definitely want to switch to the offense mod so you get more bang for the average buck. And then, of course, The other reason for offense sets is if you're going against a bunch of shore troopers or General Kenobis or any other character that has critical hit immunity capability, when you're dealing with critical hit immunity, that means they can't be critically hit, but they can be regularly hit, which means the more offense, the better. And so offense sets are excellent when you're going against a General Kenobi team. So once you get it higher up and you see that everybody runs with a General Kenobi, you would be better suited going to offense mods and abandoning the critical chance, critical damage theory. This is something that a lot of people don't even take into account. But once you're not able to hit them for crits, you might as well be hitting them for a higher offensive amount on the base damage. So those are my 2 cents about how to mod these teams up. Definitely speed for Sith Assassin. Now let's go ahead and go into the 9 characters I feel like you should focus on for the current and future meta. Now, you already know what my thoughts are on Rex. He's one of the best top 3 characters in the game. Definitely a must-have for everybody. He's amazing. To see him at gear 7 in your account, it makes my heart a little bit sad. Definitely throw a favorites tag on him, put him in your favorites, and focus on him. Make him one of the top 10 characters. You know, I've got 9 characters for you, but throw in your own special character that you are working on. But he's definitely got to be in your favorites, and you got to be gearing him up. He's going to help you. He's been around since the beginning, and he's been helping people in Arena in the top 10 since the beginning, and he's not going away anytime soon. And the reason is all of these unique abilities that are coming out and that have come out, all these debuff type abilities need to be cleansed, and he's always going to be the best cleanser in the game until, of course, they bring out a better cleanser, which they have yet to do, and that includes Chirrut, which he's still better cleanser than Chirrut. Number 2, of course, everybody knows B2, it had to be done. Put my face on this B2 Battle Droid. B2 Battle Droid, you've got him really low, like gear 4 or gear 5, and you don't really have a whole lot of energy into him. He is one of those characters that, for twofold. One, when you hit an arena team, you just can't get through because you're not able to apply the damage where you want. So you're playing in arena, you're fighting, and you're frustrated because every time you try to hit who you want to hit, you got another tank popping up, whether it be General Kenobi or whether it be Shore Trooper who finally threw his taunt up, or whether it's Royal Guard who, you know, incidentally triggered because you got someone almost dead. B2 solves that problem every time. And B2 Boba Fett combo, a B2 and a Boba Fett in the background on any team with 3 damage dealers is amazing. You could easily put General Kenobi, B2 Boba Fett, and +2 any attackers, any two attackers, and you're going to have an amazing team right there. You'll have a tank that dispels, and you'll have your tank that cleanses, and you'll have Boba Fett for the ability block and the execute, and then 2 other attackers makes the team just crazy powerful. So definitely want to get B2 Battle Droid. The other purpose for B2 is something I use on an almost daily basis is Galactic War. And the reason for that is Galactic War, a lot of people want to break it, right? So what they do is they throw as many tanks into an arena battle as they can. They fight an arena battle and they get out, right? They retreat. And it registers the largest arena team they've ever had. And then that registers with the game. And when the game is looking for opponents that are higher than them, if they can't find it, it breaks and they get an easy, cheap node, like a really chintzy node. And so a lot of people know about this, and a lot of people are trying to break it. So what will happen is you'll run into a very overpowered team with like 5 maxed out tanks with like General Kenobi lead, with Royal Guard and Shore Trooper and Darth Vader, who's not a tank, but he's very tanky. And so then what happens is you run into him and you can't get out of the taunt. It's like 3 or 4 taunts at any given time, and you can't get through the team no matter how you look at it. And it's super difficult, and you're like, what the heck? And because the team is more powerful than you, your characters aren't quite able to chew through those amount of tanks. It's just really, really difficult. B2 solves that problem instantly. He can put that immunity down, the buff immunity, and allow for you to just target the Darth Vader that you need to kill, or the General Kenobi that you need to kill, without the worry of any of the additional tanks. It basically neuters that team and makes them worthless. And so B2 has got his importance. You really want to have him in there. Number 3 is Death Trooper. Now, we haven't seen a lot of Death Trooper or heard a lot about him, but he's a hidden gem in the game. He's phenomenal. He's basically like B2 and Darth Nihilus mixed in a way. And this is why. He's going to be able to dispel the opposing team just like B2 does. He's just not going to be able to do it quite as often as B2. And he's got an ability to increase cooldowns, much like Darth Nihilus does. And he has an insta-kill, much like Darth Nihilus does when he gets an individual marked with the death mark, and then they get hit one more time and they're dead. So definitely Death Trooper is one of those characters that I see as very arena viable in the next 6 months. I think we're going to see a lot more of him because now that he's farmable in Cantina, a lot of people are going to start working him up, getting him up, and they're going to go, wow, he's way good, and they're going to start using him. And so because we haven't seen a lot of him, people just kind of write him off because they go, oh, him and Director Krennic, they're just okay. He is far better than people understand and believe. So make sure you get Death Trooper, put in your favorites, and work him up. Number 4 is Sunfac. Now this is why. You've got his abilities basically maxed out. You got decent mods on him. You've got him 7-star, and you have him at Gear 9. You kind of put a ridiculous amount of energy into him, and then you stopped. And if he was someone that you made a mistake on and you went, oops, I shouldn't have done that, then you better not put any more gear in. But he's not that character. The only reason why he's not currently viable at this moment in the meta is because of all the Darth Maul leads. That's it. Period. That's it. That's the only reason. Before Darth Maul came into this picture as a leader, he was one of the 2 top tanks in the entire game. It was him or Baze or both. And it made for a crazy offensive team and a crazy defensive team. He's one of the best offensive/defensive characters you can have. Now, the problem is Darth Maul basically neuters him and renders him useless with days, and so that's the problem with him. Now, Darth Maul, while he's not going to go anywhere, he's going to stick around for a long time in some fashion and form and all of those. He's going to become less relevant in the meta as it shifts and as it changes, and we've already seen that a little bit on a lot of shards. We see that a lot of people are now going to Rex and Wedge Lead, and they're now going to Jedi, and so there's a lot of these new teams. There's a lot of variants. When you're going against anyone other than the Darth Maul lead, Sunfac is still one of the top 2 best tanks in the game, hands down. So finish him. He's not a waste at all, and you put so much energy into him, you want to finish him off. So there's Sunfac. Number 5 is no secret. It's General Kenobi. You've got him maxed out. You got good mods on him. Everything about him's great except for gear. He's at Gear 8. Now, there's nothing you can do about that. Gear with him is horrible. You're going to be doing Carbantes for days. There's like 9 Carbantes for him. 9. I mean, that's like 450 pieces. You're going to farm the Carbantes for probably 2 months alone. So I'm sure he's in your favorites, and I'm sure you're working him now. But definitely, if he's not, put him there. But I'm sure that he is. He's just going to be a slow grind. But when he gets up there, you are going to love him in your arena team. Now, 6, 7, 8, and 9 all come out of Rebels. I know you're a dark side guy, and you're going to go, I don't want light side. But sometimes, if something works, you should embrace it, and you should have it. And there's so many aspects of this game that require a Rebel team that there's no waste when you go and invest into a Rebel team, even if it's a necessary evil, because I know you love... Niro loves his dark side characters. He's dark side through and through. Everything he does is dark side, and I want to respect that. But these last 4 come out of Rebels, and they are probably the top 4 Rebels that you need to focus on. And I'm not going to say Wedge and Biggs or anything like that. It's actually R2-D2 is number 1. R2-D2 is surprisingly versatile and works in almost any light side lineup, and he, with his numbers crunch, makes every team way more versatile, and he can prevent from having a double tank need. He basically can kind of create that double tank with his false taunt, with his stealthing capability. So I would definitely recommend R2, and if you're going to ever Zeta him in the future, I would do number crunch first, because number crunch has much more viability with making your team viable and long-lasting and durable. But with numbers, with the combat analysis, it will prevent you from needing a cleanser. It will basically turn each of your light side characters into their own cleansing. So all they got to do is crit and they cleanse. So pretty awesome. R2-D2 is definitely on every single team in my top 10. He's crazy. It works very, very well. I've used him in lots of teams. Extremely versatile. He works well in the AAT tank raid in many phases with many teams. So he's definitely another person you can plug in there. So finish R2-D2 off. Also, of course, Chirrut and Baze. In your middle, you've got Chirrut at 4 stars and Baze. I know you've got them gear 7 and 8. Go ahead and just like General Kenobi, stick them in your favorites and keep working them up. They're not going They're not going away anytime soon. They're both an amazing combination, and everybody will admit they are the singular best combo in the game. They still are, and they will continue to be. And in the future, even though there are certain characters like B2 that will neuter them, not everybody likes to run B2. As you see, I suggest B2 to everyone, and it feels like I'm talking to nobody, because it seems like every time I go into these roster reviews, everybody has their B2s low level, and it's like people say, well, he sucks. But it's like, how do you know he sucks? You don't even have him maxed out yet. So definitely you want to get your Chirrut and Baze up, because they have much usability in the raids. They have much usability in the events that drop for Rebels, and the durability you'll need, especially for like any of the Empire events that have a super tough tier. They're going to allow you to stay alive until that into that tier. And lastly, I'm actually going to suggest Jyn Erso. You have her at 5 star. And gear 7, she's phenomenal. You're going to be able to use her in the raids. I'm talking about the heroic raids, both in Rancor and in the AAT tank raid. You can use her as a lead, or just even as a supplementary on a phase 2 or phase 4 rebel team. You can also use her in the heroic Rancor. I use her with Bistan, her and Bistan with a Darth Vader lead. Those two can remove like all the turn meter that the Rancor has, but Jyn is the singular best turn meter reducer in the game, with as long as you've geared up her potency. What I mean by that is once she's done a couple of crits, she gets more potency. So, you know, the first phase, she might not take her turn meter reduction might not stick as much as it should, but once you get going, she'll get it 9 out of 10 times completely eliminated. But not only does she take away the turn meter, she takes it for herself, gives her instantly another turn. So she's, in my opinion, a critical piece of being able to, in a Zeta Vader lead Rancor team, to still be able to solo it. She's got to be a piece of that solo team if you want to make it through. She's amazing. She definitely makes it a whole lot easier. So she's going to be number 9 in that. So I've got you recommended to farm Rex, B2, Death Trooper, Sunfac, General Kenobi, Chirrut, Baze, Jyn, and R2. Put them all in your favorites. Farm them all on the star rarity. Farm them all, of course, on gear. If you've got any side projects, you can work on those as well. But these are the characters I believe that are the most meta-resistant, that are going to get you through this meta and into the next 6 months safely. That will all be safe investments with your in-game currency and your in-game crystals. As always, make sure you keep your gaming on. Warrior out.